Welcome to the Red Pill Podcast, powered by AgencyX.net. Explore AI-driven creativity, groundbreaking innovations, and industry insights, all in one game-changing podcast. Enjoy.
All right, welcome to this deep dive. We're digging into some really fascinating sources you shared with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at something pretty unique.
It really is a project that somehow manages to blend classic literature, abstract art, and cutting-edge AI.
And it all stems from an idea conceived, 25 years ago?
Exactly. It's this AI-generated trailer called The Day Rocinante Dies. And it's visualizing a filmmaker's really old concept for reimagining Cervantes Don Quixote.
But specifically through the lens of sculptor Alberto Giacometti. That's the key twist here. Very existential, very distinct.
So our mission for this deep dive, let's try to unpack the core concept, understand the visual style, decode the symbolism.
And see what it all tells us about art and AI and maybe the battles artists are facing right now.
Right, because that's where it gets, really interesting, isn't it?
It is, because this isn't just some new AI thing. It's bringing this quarter-century-old vision to life using AI.
Okay, so the original idea, film studies, 25 years back, a pitch for a short film.
Yeah, the core was, what if you took Don Quixote and filtered it entirely through Giacometti's aesthetic, his whole visual language?
Which is quite a look, very sparse, very haunting.
Definitely. And the source material suggests this concept zeroes in on that classic tension, Quixote the dreamer versus Sancho Panza the realist.
But updated.
Exactly. They're seeing that struggle playing out against what the source calls modern windmills.
Modern windmills. What are we talking about here? AI itself.
That seems to be part of it. AI disruption, big technological shifts, this whole maybe battle for what art means today. Those are the windmills.
Okay, that makes sense. And there's a central figure here, besides Quixote and Sancho. Rocinante.
Ah, yes. Quixote's horse, skeletal, long-suffering Rocinante, described here as his final believer.
That's quite a phrase. Final believer.
It is. And in this concept, Rocinante's death isn't just, the horse dying. It's deeply symbolic.
Symbolizing what?
The source calls it the collapse of delusion and the loss of grounded trust. That moment where even the strongest belief hits reality hard.
Let's talk visuals then, because the Giacometti link is so crucial. How does the project actually capture his style?
Well, it seems to directly channel it. You see those really emaciated, stretched out forms, that sense of isolation, fragile idealism. It's all there.
And this wasn't just picked out of a hat, artistically speaking. The source mentioned a reason.
Oh, definitely not random. It was described as a deliberate revolt, a conscious pushback.
Against what?
Against the, quote, slavery of photorealism. That relentless push in animation and visual effects over decades to just make everything look perfectly real.
Right. For ages, the gold standard was, does it look like a photo, CGI realism.
Exactly. But Giacometti is the polar opposite. Those eroded surfaces, warped figures. The source talks about liberation through abstraction.
Liberation through abstraction, meaning moving away from the literal to get at something else.
Precisely. Rejecting surface appearances to expose maybe deeper truths, existential truths. Stripping things down to their core essence, their feeling.
Like those examples they gave. No horse ever looked like Rocinante's trembling specter. No knight like Quixote's fractured shadow. You're seeing the feeling of exhaustion, of being broken maybe.
Exactly. Not a literal horse, but the idea of that horse distilled. It's about capturing a state of being, not anatomy.
Okay, so here's the twist that I find really compelling.
Yeah.
They wanted this very specific, non-real, abstract look.
Yeah.
And they used AI to get it. AI, the tool everyone associates with creating photorealism or deepfakes or whatever. How does that work?
It's a fantastic irony, isn't it? But it actually shows AI's potential flexibility. By feeding Giacometti's style into the AI, prompting it that way.
You're basically telling it not to make it look real.
Kind of, yeah. You're directing it away from literal reality. The source says it proves algorithms can defy realism to serve artistic metaphor.
So the tool often used to mimic reality is here being used to achieve a deliberately unrealistic artistic vision.
Precisely. And the source even frames this whole act using AI this way as mirroring Quixote's own fight, wielding Giacometti's language through AI to shatter realism's dominance.
It's like fighting the system from within almost.
Yeah.
Using the tools of the enemy to champion a different vision.
You could see it that way. And the result is art that arguably feels more human because it refuses to look photographically human. It connects differently.
Interesting.
And there's this nice detail mentioned. The AI apparently mimics Giacometti's hand-sculptured look.
So it has that tactile quality, even though it's digital.
Yeah, creating this nostalgic contrast to digital precision, which, again, kind of echoes Quixote pushing against progress, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to those modern windmills in Rocinante. You mentioned the symbolism runs deep.
It does. The sources connect Quixote's foes directly to today's anxieties.
Like the AI debate in art.
Exactly. Is generative AI a real threat, a true disruptor, or is it partly a windmill, an imagined enemy we're tilting at? Or maybe a bit of both?
That's a big question right now. And the other windmill mentioned.
The potential erosion of, well, human creativity itself. Does AI make artists feel irrelevant, like modern Quixotes fighting a losing battle?
Heavy stuff. And Rocinante is central to this. You said he was the fulcrum.
Always the fulcrum. Yeah, even in the original concept 25 years ago, his death is the linchpin.
And the questions raised about his death now, in this AI context.
They're really pointed. Is human creativity itself the Rocinante? If algorithms do the creating, does the soul of art die with that shift?
Or is Rocinante maybe tradition itself, like handcraft versus automation, the old ways versus the new?
Yeah, that's another interpretation they float. What gets lost when the method changes so fundamentally? It's a powerful symbolic question.
And the timing, as you said, is just uncanny. This idea sitting on a shelf for 25 years.
Yeah, from a student pitch at Film Academy Baden-Württemberg, just dormant.
And now, this existential take on Quixote, conceived before, the huge digital upheaval.
Right, pre-internet saturation, pre-AI boom. It now uncannily mirrors today's creative crises. It's quite something.
The windmills changed, don't they? Back then, maybe it was early CGI disrupting things?
Yeah, or digital editing replacing film splicing. New tech always feels like a windmill to someone.
And today's windmills are generative AI, deepfakes, maybe even bigger, scarier windmills.
Perhaps. And so when Rocinante's death, that symbol of collapsing belief, is visualized using AI, one of today's biggest windmills,
that core question just hits harder.
it gains this new urgency, as the source puts it. When algorithms generate the art, what happens to the human spark? That drive, that belief, however flawed.
So wrapping this all together, this project reframes Quixote. He's not just a madman tilting at windmills.
No, he becomes a kind of prophet of artistic resistance, driven by this maybe naive but powerful, true belief in conquer them all.
It's Giacometti's existential dread meeting Cervantes' timeless struggle.
A potent mix.
And it definitely leaves us, and you, the listener, with some significant questions to chew on.
Yeah, like, is AI really the end of the line for art as we know it? Or is it just the next big windmill for modern Quixotes to charge towards?
And maybe think about your own Rocinante. Whatever that represents for you, tradition, belief, a way of working, when it feels like it's dying, what then?
Do you give in? Adapt like Sancho pragmatically?
Or do you find a way, like Quixote, maybe unbound now, to find new dreams, even in the middle of these technological storms?
It really pushes you to consider, would you follow Quixote into that AI tempest, relying on conviction?
Or would you find a different path, maybe guided by Sancho's realism? There's no easy answer there.
No, definitely not.
Wow, what a journey that was, into imagination, art, history, technology, and just that enduring struggle for meaning.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing these sources up. It sparked a really thought-provoking deep dive. Gives us all a lot to think about, doesn't it? About creating against the odds.
It certainly does. Keep exploring those fascinating corners, everyone, and please do keep sharing what you find.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Red Pill Podcast. If you enjoyed diving deep into the future of AI and media, make sure to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Stay tuned. Bigger insights, bolder ideas, and game-changing discussions are coming your way. Sponsored by agencyx.net.